Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the top 10 cars that are way too overpriced. And be sure to stick to the end because I'm sure you guys will be surprised on the last one on this list. But before we get into that, check out this Nissan Altima doing Altima Fake. Now, coming in at number 1, we have the 2023 Toyota Corolla GR. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about this car recently, especially with the issues that the car is having with them catching on fire. But the craziest thing about them, even after all these problems they've been having, is that people still want $40,000 to $50,000 for these cars. It's literally a 3-cylinder turbo that gets around 300 horsepower. And I can tell you right now, I would never spend that much on a Corolla. And that's coming from a guy that owns a Toyota Corolla himself and has always been a Toyota and Lexus guy. Realistically, these cars should be going for around $30,000 and maybe $35,000 tops. There's so many other cars out there that you can get within that price range that are way faster and have way better performance. But hey, if you have an obsession for Corollas and hatchbacks, then I guess you could get this car. For me personally, I'd rather get something else. Now, coming in at number 2, we have the 2024 Honda Civic Type R. These also go for around $40,000 to $50,000 and have only around 300 horsepower. Now, I get it. People are fanatics for these cars. Type Rs are really cool. They're very clean looking cars, and I do love the overall styling of the car and how everything's up to date and they kept the manual. But I mean, come on, 50 grand for that, guys? That's pretty insane. Like, I'd rather get like a BMW M4 or AMG or even an F car. The Type R in general is mainly for people that are really big Honda enthusiasts. And I know power isn't everything, but we shouldn't be spending that much just for the name. And that also leads me into number 3, which is going to be some friendly fire. And that's Lexus GXs, ISFs, and RCFs. And these are known as the F Performance line for Lexus. This is kind of equivalent to what you see in the AMG series or the M series for BMW. And because F cars are so rare, you see them going for some crazy prices. I see Lexus GSFs going for $50,000 to $60,000, even close to $70,000 depending on the mileage. And I honestly believe that there's more ISFs than GSFs out there. And RCFs are actually the most common F car, and I'm actually sitting in one. I'm in a 2015 RCF that I got for a decent deal. I'll be honest with you, for $50,000 you can get a lot better car in terms of horsepower and performance. But to be fair, Lexus is more on the luxury side as compared to performance. They're more for like classy guys that want to have a little bit of power under the hood, all while sitting in luxury. And it's the same thing for ISFs as well. You'll be lucky if you find a 2008 ISF for $25,000 in good condition. Coming in at number 4, and this one is insane to me as well, and that's a 2024 Cadillac Escalade. And these go for over $100,000, you guys. These things are crazy, and they're absolute tanks. And I'm telling you, if you don't at least have like a family of 10 or plus kids, don't even get this car. Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm broke compared to these people, but if I'm spending $100K plus on like a huge big body car, I'll probably end up just getting a G-Wagon. But you guys let me know in the comment section, is this a normal price for Escalades? And I think that's why we only see government officials or presidents in these cars. They must be one of the safest out there, and a lot of times people like to make them bulletproof. So I feel like they're very niche specific as well for those reasons, especially if you're the type of person that needs bodyguards or a lot of protection. Now, coming in at number 5, we have the 1991 Acura NSX. If you want to find one in decent condition, bare minimum, you're going to be spending $100,000 for this car. Now, don't get me wrong, the NSX is really nice, and it's crazy because you can actually get the newer NSX for the same price. And it's going to be a lot faster, it looks a lot cooler in my opinion, and I just can't get over the turbo noises that the car makes. And I mean, the 1991 NSX is nice too. It has a really nice body style, classic body style, that's even comparable to what we see in supercars today. There is absolutely no way I would be spending that much on a car from the 90s. And I feel like social media has just jacked up that price, and if it was going for like $50,000 to $60,000, that's more fair. Now, coming in at number 6, we have another JDM legend, and that's the 1993 Toyota Supra, also known as the MK4. And I'm specifically talking about the ones with the 2JZ GTE motor, which is the turboed version of the 2JZ. A lot of the Supras that were produced were the non-turboed ones, so they really didn't have that much potential. But if you wanted the right-hand drive, the manual, the 2JZ GTE motor, you're going to be spending at least $130,000 to $200,000, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. And social media and the Fast and Furious just ruined the market for this car. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, this is your absolute dream car, right? But it's just going to be that much more unattainable because of how much hype it has gotten. Everyone thinks that once you get this car, you're automatically going to have like 1,000 plus horsepower. But the truth is, these cars only make like 300 horsepower, if that, from the factory. You still have to do a handful of work to it if you want to get it to 1,000 horsepower. So unless you got supercar money, I don't even recommend trying to get this car, guys. But hopefully as the years go on, the price will slowly drop down and they'll be more attainable. Or maybe you guys can go out there and find those barn find Toyota Supras that have been locked up by senior citizens for 20 plus years. Now coming in at number 7, we have the 1999 R34 Nissan GTR. And this is arguably a lot worse than a Toyota Supra. In the right condition, these can go for $200,000 plus. And they have the same exact problem that the Toyota Supra has. A lot of people love to hype them up on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, saying that they have tons and tons of power, but they simply don't understand that work needs to go into these cars and make them that powerful. And I do love the R34s mainly because you hardly ever see them. Like, I personally have never seen an R34 GTR, but I've seen tons and tons of Toyota Supras. So it's not hard to understand as to why the price range is so much higher than what we see in the Supra. Would I spend that much on that car if I had the money? Probably not. Now coming in at number 8, this is probably going to make a lot of people butthurt, but we're talking about the new 2024 BMW M4s and M3s. You're going to be spending a solid $90,000 to $100,000 for an M car. And sure, you can make a ton of power out of these cars, but honestly, they don't sound all that great, and they really haven't done much to fine-tune the exhaust. And if I'm going to be spending that type of money, I don't really want to spend it on an inline 6. Like, for me, the exhaust note is everything, especially if I'm going to be spending a lot of money on a car. And if it doesn't have that really aggressive growl or the sound of a V8, then it's really hard for me to justify getting it. But if they threw a V8 under the hood, I would be all game for it. The looks of these cars are absolutely amazing. The front end looks nice. I used to not like it because I would make fun of it, saying it kind of looks like a Beaver, but it has grown on me a lot. And if I were to get either of the two, I would get a 2024 BMW M3 just because I love sedans and all of the space. It's just funny to me how the previous generation of these cars, you can actually get them for like $50,000, even less, depending on the mileage. But we all know how it is. BMWs seem to depreciate a lot, so give it a couple of years and I think they'll be a lot more affordable. Now coming in at number 9, we have the 2024 Toyota Sequoia. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are also off-road enthusiasts or people that love those big body SUVs from Toyota, but what a shame it is that you're going to be spending $85,000 to $90,000 plus on a Sequoia that's not even a V8, it's a V6. Now it makes around 400 horsepower or so, and don't get me wrong, the car looks amazing inside and out, and you can do some amazing builds with this car, but what used to be a really nice SUV or suburban has now become something that has been way too overpriced and no longer affordable by your average family. But on the bright side, if you guys still do love Sequoias, you can get them for like $10,000, $10,000 to $20,000 on Facebook Marketplace for decent condition. But you would have to get the earlier models from the early 2000s, which are super reliable and still have a ton of space. I believe you can fit around 8 people inside. Now lastly, at number 10, we have the 2024 Lexus GX 550. These also go for around $90,000 to $100,000, you guys. Now let me put this in perspective. I recently sold my Lexus GX 460. It was a 2011 model and it had 103,000 miles on it. I got it for around $21,000, and I could not even imagine spending close to $100,000 on that. And at the end of the day, it's still just a Lexus. I know some of you guys are probably going to throw rocks at me in the comment section. There is absolutely no reason as to why a Lexus needs to cost that much, considering it's not a supercar. It's not a super luxury fancy car like Mercedes or BMW is shooting for. It should be more on the affordable side of luxury, which is the #1 reason as to why Lexus did so well with their first car. They were making affordable luxury, which was able to compete against Mercedes and BMW, and they're slowly just going away from that. And they're just overcharging on a lot of vehicles. And I mean, I love Lexus still. I'll always continue to buy them, but they need to stop it with the price gouging. Other than that, you guys, those are the top 10 cars that are way too overpriced this year. And hopefully you guys are going to be able to find these cars for a good deal. But if you want to find a better price for these cars, look on Facebook Marketplace or find them third party, because a lot of these dealerships love to mark up the crap out of these cars and just make them super unaffordable. But with that being said, if you guys think I missed something, put it in the comment section down below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.